One morning past daybreak,
one morning past daybreak,
as the crowd slowly gathered, like a sheep he was humbled, to his Father's own will. So sad was his face then, the birds stopped their singing, they were walking my Lord, up Calvary's hill.
Hey guys, welcome to the rat hole. You know, last week we left off with old Welding buffing on that patina on that old truck, and he's supposed to get the motor mounts built this week and get that engine installed in that chassis. Let's see how he made out. I do believe my pants are on fire. Looks like my chair's on fire. I believe my table's on fire. Hey, welcome to Rat Rodding. My name's Waylon Wire, and don't ever do what we do here on this channel. Jericho Road, there's room for just two, no more, no less. Just trying to think this through a little bit. In order to get that engine up in there where it goes, I've got to cut that reservoir off. And in order to get my mounts built, I've got to take it out of that cradle because I've got to put some angle to it. I usually use about 4 degrees on the pinion angle. 4 degrees down on the engine and 4 degrees up on the pinion. See, this is why it takes me so long to make a video. This is why I've got 2 hours of footage cut down to about 20 minutes. That's okay. I don't mind. If taking cameras on her, I'd be talking to myself. 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches. It'd be easier to move the chassis, I believe. Put a jack under the hind end and move it really easy. The front end's about right. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas. I'm off like a herd of turtles. I'll be a monkey's uncle. All right, that's where the engine's going to live. That's the height anyway. And I'm going to put a cross member in there, right in front of that oil pan. So if it drags anywhere, high center's any place, it'll high center on that cross member instead of on the oil pan. I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call it a night. I think I'll call it Thursday night. Okay, as you can see, I have an angle gauge on the front of that engine. And believe it or not, it's sitting at about 3 degrees. And ideally, you want between 1 and 3.5 degrees. I usually go 4. Never had any issues with that. But right now, it's about 3, which is perfect. It looks really steep just because that engine is so long. But I've checked it on both ends. At first, I couldn't believe it. It's got to be more than that. But no, it's about 3, and that's exactly what the pinion angle is on the rear end. And so that's what you want. Okay, I am pretty well centered, but I am centered. I know I've measured it 6 or 7 different ways. I am centered on the chassis, but the engine is not level side to side. I've got to raise that driver's bank up quite a bit. I had to level on it. So I got to figure out how to do that. But you know, that's the fun part, figuring out this stuff. I love the challenges as you go along and you just make it work. You know, figure out how to do that, and stuff I've never done before. I always run into something I've never done before, and you have to figure it out. Makes your old brain work a little bit. You know, what little I have. Okay, got it level now. I checked it back to what I did was put a 2x4 under here, under the manifold, with my floor jack, and fixed it up, and then ran these pads down on this side of the hoist, and got it leveled out. Now, I probably have to recenter it, because it kind of jockeyed around a little bit, but I can do that. All right, there we go. You know, a lot of this stuff just takes time. It just takes a lot of time. And it's not really video worthy. So you really don't see them. There's a whole lot you don't see. There's a whole lot you don't want to see. You'd be bored to tears. Oh, those are some pretty nice edges. This thing will cut 1/2 inch if you go real slow. I tend to get in a little bit of a hurry, as you can see. But there won't be much grinding to do on that. Alright, let's go in for a test fit. Alright, let's see if this thing fits. Hey! Not too bad for the first time around. Now, I'll have to square that up on the frame, but I will. So I got to make 3 more. I want 1 back here, 2 on the other side, and plus I'm going to run cross member underneath and support all that. It'll be supported here too, but and that's heavy outfit, that engine and tranny, so I gotta make her hold up. I think it will. If it breaks, I'll fix it, but I don't think it's going to. Doing a little bit of left-handed welding. That was a little bit tricky for me. It worked out though. That's what I'm talking about. Well, it's hard to believe because it's so deceiving because this engine is so long. But that carburetor is absolutely level. And this is not degrees more than about 3 degrees. 3.5 maybe. It just looks like it's about 10 because this thing's so stinking long. Well, I just got to trust the math. It's deceiving, but I had to look all right. Once that grill's on there, the radiator in there and the grill on there, and I've got some taller tires coming for the back because those are actually smaller than these, and it's going to be fine. But I mean, in relation to the rear end, the engine's at the right angle. Well, this motor mount is pretty stout. That is 2 pieces of 3-inch channel iron welded together, and you know, it held that engine since back in the 60s, somewhere between 60 and 65. So I think I'll trust it to hold it for as long as this thing will be on the road. So I'm going to whack it off of there, and then I'm going to cut it to length. I only need 3 1/4 inches, but because there's a pad that goes in there, a piece of rubber, metal and rubber. But I'll cut it off, and then I can square it up and cut it to size. Yep, I think that's what I'll do. Be fun cutting all that old grease and stuff. Yeah. Well, I'm just a tad off center. Front pulley has to go to the driver's side, just a smidgen, just a skosh, you know, just a skosh. Got some bottle jacks over there, but I found out the bottle jacks don't work laying on their side. Well, at least mine don't. Maybe they're supposed to. I don't know. Wow. That's right on. Wow. 10.5. Okay. Well, you guys jump in there and weld that up for me. I'm getting kind of tired. Okay, I got that tacked. Well, I made a little progress today. I think I'm going to go in and have a little bit of supper and then come back out here and pick that thing up in the air and just weld and weld and weld and weld until wee hours of the morning, if that's what it takes. I've got to put these other guys down in there. Pretty tight, they're pretty snug. I have to kind of tap them in place, but that's what I want. And then I'm going to put one across the bottom too. That's a pretty heavy wall 2x4, and I'll put that underneath there. That'll hold that up. Plus it's hanging on the frame. I know this thing got a lot of torque, and I'm probably going to put one under the transmission too, and I'm probably going to put another one about midway here in front of that sump of that oil pan, but I'm going to use 2x6, or I've got a piece of 2x8 out there. That's probably what I'll use under there, because I don't want that frame to twist. I don't think it will. I think we'll be all right. All right, catch you guys in a bit. Well, I'm going to sit down right here in this chair right here because I'm tired. I just spent the last about 2.5 hours changing that front motor mount. I just couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand the angle of that engine in relation to the frame. Although it was only 3 degrees, it just didn't look right. If you only looked at half of the engine, like the back half, it looked fine. So if it was a V8, 3 degrees would have been just dandy. But that thing is 4 feet long, so it just made too much of an angle. And it's one of those things that if I didn't do it now, I would just hate it the rest of my life. So, you know, it ain't right till it's right. So, of course, I had it welded up. You know how I weld stuff together. I don't mess around, so it took me about twice as long to cut the old mount out that I had in there as it did for me to make a new one and replace it. But now then, it just looks better. And but I created some more work for myself because my research tells me anywhere between 1 and about 3.5 degrees is good. And I know from experience you can go 4. And I read last night that you could even go 6 or so as long as you keep your RPMs down to about 1500 on the drive shaft. So it don't start to vibrate and shake the U-joints out of it. But anyway, I went the other way. I dropped it down to 1 degree. Okay, so now I'm happy with that, but I created some more work for myself because now that I've got that down to 1 degree angle, I've got to change the angle on my pinion because I know for a fact that it's 3 degrees. So I got to change it to 1 degree now too to match that one. And the angle of my drive shaft is going to be okay. Yeah, it's going to be good. Okay guys, that's going to do it for this video. Probably about enough, ain't it? I spent so much time changing that front mount that I didn't get the rest of my rear mount welded in. So I still got some welding to do. And I got one more fish plate on the back that I have to weld up. It's tacked on the inside and I just missed it when I was doing all these others. So I got to weld that up too. So that'll be coming up, I guess, in the next video. I got to pull this cab off, and then I got a lot of work to do on this frame. I got to pull those overload springs off. And as I said, since I changed the angle on the engine, drop that down to 1 degree, I've got to do the same on the back, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. You use some little wedges and put under that axle, and that'll change the angle. So that's how I'm going to do that. Got some tires ordered. They should be here next week. It just doesn't look right with those big tall tires on the front and these little old wimpy things on the back. That just ain't right, is it? So we're going to correct that. I didn't spend a whole lot of money on them, but I think they'll be okay. I got my inner tubes today, and the tires are on their way. So that'll be coming next week, and then I've got, like I said, a lot of work to do on this chassis. And some of you are going to be very surprised at what I do. You know, there's still about 60% of the people watching these videos that are not subscribed. I just don't understand it. It's a phenomenon. So if you haven't subscribed, maybe go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Won't cost you anything. Help me out quite a bit. And until I see you next week, I sure appreciate you.